welcome back, viewers, to our another episode of our podcast series, the Young Turks Dialogues by Crobstacle. This is our episode number 68, and we have Brandon again with us. So, first of all, happy New Year, Brandon. We are happy to have you with us again for another exciting episode. So, Brandon,
Happy to be
how
here.
Happy New Year? How is 2025?
It's going well. It's going well. Another year, it's gone by super quick. I think there's a lot of momentum going into 2025. I think, with the presidential election, with, cryptocurrencies, there's a lot of, switches with AI, a lot of things happening. So I think it's a good year to be on top of it. And for entrepreneurs, well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. I think it is going to be an exciting year, and we are meeting Dubai this year, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So this is going to be exciting. So Brandon, like 2025 is here, everybody is now thinking and working on their business plans. So how are you looking towards that?
Yeah, so I think for the most part, I'm trying to keep it as business as usual, stick with what's worked.
Right.
But then also, it's really important to be innovative and stay on the trends, right? And so, um, right now, we're still doing our capital raise, which has taken a lot longer than expected. Actually, probably been on it since last summer. Um, and so it was just an interesting process. It was a new one for me, but a lot of just organizing, a lot of information, a lot of back and forth, answering questions. Obviously, we've had a lot of people interested, then back out. Some people that weren't interested are now more interested. So it's a lot lengthier of a process, and I would say it's important to not get distracted, um, as the business is still flowing as usual. Right? But hopefully, that can get wrapped up here in the short term, and then we can plan for a very good summer and aggressive Q4 already. As you know, in e-commerce, right? Q4 is everything, and so in all reality, it takes a year of kind of strategizing, making sure the inventory is there, making sure the marketing plans are set, making sure the
Right.
collaborations are there. So I'm already picturing on Q4 2025. It's awesome that it's here and it's off to a good start so far. So
And how about the Q4 of 2024? How was it for you? How was it for Wistraps?
it was good. It was good. Yeah. So another record month, which is awesome. It was tough with inventory though, and that's kind of the reason behind the raise, right? We were trying to get more and more inventory in. So, but it was good actually. Yeah, a lot better than I expected, which was awesome. And like I said, a lot of these times too, it's important to have a long term, view. Otherwise, if you get very short term, it's tough to see the growth. But a lot of these things compound day over day.
Right.
It's like a big one we did in 2024 was SEO and organic growth, right? And that was something that posting multiple blogs every day, connecting with the community, it was a lot of this ground roots effort that you're now seeing the benefits of it. And so I think if we just keep the pedal on the gas, continuing with the SEO, I think it allows us that organic traffic to move forward. And I think that's different with competitors, right? A lot of people run ads to get traffic, and we've been very good, and it's taken a little longer, but building that ecosystem of customers. Yeah.
So, like many people, they say SEO is dead. Voice has come now. SEO has changed. That people are doing more of voice search, and now even with AI, GPT search is there. So people are saying now people are moving to Chat GPT for searches or Bard for searches for that thing. So how
Yep.
are you working on to be in that trend to keep your SEO up to date? Are there something is there something new that you have included in your strategy, or the core and the basics you are just following them and keeping up to the track?
I think something new is when it comes to like especially blog writing, right? There's a way to kind of give free value, which I think is important. And this is just something where being in the industry for a while, I know the luxury watch space. And so this is kind of where the market lives in a way. There's a lot of these forums, a lot of these blogs. And so that's been very beneficial for our business. A lot of different industries are I guess different industries are different. But for the watch community, they love reading about watches and comparing and contrasting and the history of watches. And it's a way we're reaching roughly 10,000 visitors just to our blog page per month, which has been very nice, right? And then obviously linking products in the blog and stuff like that. But I would say it's changed a little bit. Obviously, AI has been a great tool for helping write these things. But at the same time, it's great to add your own spin on it. And I think people now are also becoming a lot smarter with what's AI written and what's human
Yeah,
written,
what
right?
human generation.
And I think, in my opinion, it's great to use AI for ideas, but then to have the branding and the culture and have it be written by you, I think is very important. It comes across in the writing, you know.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense. It
exactly.
is
Yeah,
important because AI cannot understand that emotion that we as marketers can put into that, and that's what people relate to it.
yep,
So,
exactly.
and especially with the luxury things, so it becomes a matter of their pride. Like I am wearing Apple Watch, so it is luxury for me. I am wearing a
Yep,
Rolex.
yep.
I am a Rolex guy. So that is the thing. So I think that is
And
why
I
SEO is
think
big.
I think it's important as well to also keep um, you know, like keep using the AI tools and keep ahead of the technology, right? I've even seen with, ads now, right? You create your ad and you can add different variants with AI and stuff like that. Personally, I think they're great ideas, but I always suggest mixing it and switching it a little bit to get the brand, the tonality all aligned. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I totally got the point. So, these things are very specific to your industry. Now, talking in a broader sense, because the audience that is watching us is marketers, founders, entrepreneurs, and recently only we focused our podcast that we are going to be talking about marketing, and everything will revolve around that, whether it's tech, startup, or anything for the matter. So, you and I have worked for various industries. Your core is in luxury brands, my core it is in something else. So but the core marketing principle stays the same, right?
Yep.
So now it is 2025. There is a lot of buzz on the internet that in 2025 this is going to happen, that is going to happen. Like how when Chat GPT came in, so everybody was saying that that by 2025 there won't be jobs in marketing because AI will
Yeah.
replace it. And then on the other side, today or yesterday, I read another news that Chat GPT is bringing new AI bots that are going to be as good as your PhD scholars. So that level of information those bots will be. So like both the things are growing. Of course, I am seeing that I am hiring more manpower. I am getting them trained to use AI to efficiently deliver. Because of course, if the client knows everything, then why they would be needing us?
Yep.
They could have already learned Chat GPT and they would have been doing. But this has been the trend for the whole history if we see. So, in the broader perspective, in terms of the marketing, what do you think is going to be happening this year? And how the marketers who are watching, what they should be taking a note of, so that when that happens they get to execute it, and they execute it before time, because that is what we learn in marketing. You have to stay ahead of your competitors.
Yep, yep. Yeah, and I think,
What's
and you and I know, is being digital marketers, right? We've worked across different industries, and I think the overall marketing strategy stays very similar, which is you have the top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, the bottom of the funnel. I think it's really important to be retargeting the audiences that's connecting, right? I think it's important to stay present on social media. I think it's important to giveaways and ambassadors, and this is the overall core stays the same, but then I think how you deliver on each one of those differs for industry, right? So it's like, where is your community living? If you're a nature and wildlife company, then you'd probably be more in the wildlife magazines and podcasts and stuff like that. But that overall marketing, I think, still stays the same. How are you reaching kind of customers initially on the top end? How are you retargeting them, right? And then how are you building an ecosystem and a brand? It's also very different selling a brand versus a product, right? When you're selling a product, I think it's really important to have a great converting landing page and a very good campaign. And as once you get that ROAS, you can scale it up, right? But building a brand, it's a lot more about the customer service, the customer journey, the experience, the product. When they do buy something, what's your follow up flow look like? You know what I mean? Making sure they're coming back around, because that's what we've seen is now, being in business for a few years, we're seeing customers that purchased from us a year ago come back around. It's important because we keep retargeting them. But I think on a new marketing trends, I think a big one, I've seen Gary Vee talk about this as well, is like the mundane recording. So I think the past couple of years, podcasting has become a big thing, and now you're
Yes.
seeing live streaming, in my opinion, become a bigger thing. And I've
Yes.
seen companies implement that in businesses where they almost like just live stream their sales calls, their business operations, their back end, the behind the scenes, and it really just comes down to viewership, right? So if you're not posting a lot on social media, I would definitely recommend it. But if not, being more creative with different ways of posting, right? Having the live streaming, having these reels, as you know, right? Video, and it gets a lot more clicks than images, and making sure you're staying on those trends and connecting using the platforms, right? I know I use Metricool. I really like Metricool, but So when you post, it posts on all platforms, right? Just minimizing the efforts and still maximizing the results.
Right. Yeah. Getting the ROI basically. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to be on every platform as possible. To be quite
Yes.
honest with you, man, and you never know
Where
what
your
works.
audience is. So
Yeah, so
also why not we bring up the topic? TikTok got banned. What happened?
yeah, so well, it was crazy because people were blaming Trump, but then Trump turned it on within like 2 hours. It was wild.
Yes.
So it got banned, and I felt bad for all the influencers, the people that make a living on TikTok.
Yeah.
But then it was back up in a couple hours, so I'm not really sure what's all happening now. I heard, there's obviously some U.S. people that want to buy it. Ultimately, I mean,
What I heard is that Trump asked them to give him some stake in the company so that he can get it. Like, I think it is
you
a
know,
rumor or something, but that is what I read somewhere. So
yeah, I mean, it's hard to really know the details and the truth, but I think it's a good thing for businesses and for you know people
yeah,
posting and
because
investors and influencers. Yeah.
correct. No, there are so many people who are living on TikTok, and when it got banned in India, so many people like lost what they have been doing. So it is
It
good
got it
that
got banned in India as well.
yes. In India, it got banned,
Interesting.
and they haven't removed that ban. So like
Oh,
I
it's
think
still
it is
banned.
already yeah. I think it is 2 to 3 years since they banned it. So
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, apparently, and like I don't know. I mean, apparently the back end privacy and data, they basically have everything, access to your device. Um, but I don't know, and I don't think people care too much about that anymore. I think people know that if they want to look at your device,
people
anyone
just
can.
want content. They want
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. But I know TikTok's been a good use for a lot of small businesses and even us included, and that's why Metricool is very important because we were posting across all platforms, but Pinterest was actually the one that took off for us. So we've had close to 5 million Pinterest impressions in the past year.
Wow.
Um, and again, which is definitely exceeded expectations and didn't compare to Instagram, YouTube, and so that's why I think it's really important to try all different platforms to see which one works.
Right.
And if you think about it, because you're trying to reach customers on different points, right? So if someone interacts with you on Instagram and then goes to Pinterest and sees you again, and then goes to Google and then you pop up again, it's really important to have repetition and frequency in your audience.
Right.
Because
So,
at the end of the day, it is a saturated market, right? And there's a lot of people that they're competitors, and so if you can be the one in front of their face more frequently, they'll convert more often.
correct. That totally makes sense. So, is there are there any challenges that you are currently facing with marketing? And if you are facing, then let's first discuss those challenges, and then let's talk about the steps that you are taking, so that people can understand the mindset how you are able to tackle those challenges or what things you are going to be doing.
Yeah, I think our biggest challenge in marketing is, like I said, we have a very good organic traffic, which is awesome, but it's making sure the paid campaigns are successful, right? And that just comes from a lot of testing. And so it's testing a lot of different content, a lot of different verbiage, testing different sales, testing different audiences, different demographics, different geolocations. So it comes down to a lot of testing. I think that's where it gets very scientific of making sure you're not spending money, right? So you have to have a campaign run for a certain amount of time to properly test it. But it's also important to not be spending money on something that isn't working, right? And I think that's where our skill set of digital marketing comes into play. And I think that's why people hire people like us, right? So it's important to kind of have that experience, but it comes down to testing. There's a lot of times that I thought I had a really good campaign and it didn't really perform, and then other ones I thought it was an okay campaign and it performed very well. So it just comes down to testing, And then when you do find a campaign that works and the ROAS is 2, 3x or whatever, just keep scaling it, and scaling it appropriately as well. It's not something where you can have a $10 a day campaign and turn it into $1,000 a day campaign. You need to scale up appropriately.
But what I feel is that here most people lack the patience to find it because they think that okay, so today I started ads, tomorrow I haven't got any ROI, I will stop it. It isn't valuable for me. Or even after
Yeah.
a month. So you and I, of course, we as marketers know it is a constant effort. You do need to do a lot of testing. You need to do study a lot of data to reach to that point. But that's where I think people are still in 2025 lacking that patience to understand what is happening. And even what I also see with some of our clients that they think okay, in this campaign I got this. So impressions are good, reach is good, but if I haven't got any conversions, then it is a useless campaign for me. But they don't understand it works top of the funnel. Then you bring them down from awareness to
Yep.
consideration. You keep on. So how I've been explaining to our clients these days is that we go for omni-channel approach. I be in front of them in Facebook. I be in front of them on Google. I be in front of them on Twitter, wherever they are. Even
Yep.
you go for offline tomorrow, whenever. So let's say tomorrow I want to go and buy a new watch. So your face will come to my mind because you and I have been talking constantly about it. Your brand will come
Hmm.
to my. So that is what brands have been doing. That is why they make their make these ads to connect with you emotionally. And same thing has to be applied to campaigns. The value you get is in the longer run. That is what I've been trying to explain people. 3 days back only a client came to us, asked us that you run my campaign for 2 days, and then on basis of that I will decide if I want to work with you or not. So I clearly told him, see, if you are here for 2 days, then what I suggest you is that you go find some other vendor, get your hands burned, and then you come back to us. I'm always here to help you out. But once you have the mindset that I will be investing at least for 3 months, 3 to 6 months, then only I
Yep.
can really help you. In 2 days,
Exactly.
I will be able to just start your ads, and then you will come down to me that this has
Well,
happened.
because a lot of times too, right? Let's say you run an ad campaign and you're sitting at, a point eight, right? So technically, you're not profitable as far as the campaign is concerned. Let's say you generated 1,000 emails. Well, now making sure your email marketing audience, it can still convert, you can still be positive. And that's where the testing and knowing the numbers really makes sense. Because we've had a lot of that where the ROAS isn't there, but we're getting so many more visitors to the website every, making sure we're retargeting them. Eventually, they come back around. And to your point, having
Correct.
an omni-channel marketing presence is important.
Being in front of them every time. And then
Exactly.
another thing is that what I have realized is important of pricing your products properly. So we have been working with this brand for the last 4 5 months. We have been telling them, see, you need to get your pricing right, because you are being expensive in front of your competitors, and your product does not look that it is that up to the mark. So I've been telling them, and then on top of that, they do not have testimonials. They do not have the right content in terms of the images and everything. So they are using stock images. So I've been telling them this for the last 4 to 5 months, but they have been pushing us that you just keep on executing on this, and we will see what happens. So
Yeah,
now,
one thing I would say for people looking for marketing agencies like you or I, it's really important to have a long term vision. So I think a lot of people have a company, they hire a marketing agency for a month or two, they don't see results that they're looking for, and they want to get out of it. And really, what it comes down to is at least a year or so. You got to plan, a minimum of 6 months to see some sort of results. And so that's where if you do hire a marketing agency, and you don't see results. I mean, it's up to you to plan properly because you need to give time to test. You need to give time to build the community. And I've just seen that a lot where people will save up a handful of thousands, spend it for a month or two, and then go back to zero. And it's really important to not waste that money. Either do the effort on your own, or when you make the step to hire a marketing agency, make sure you have enough to keep it going and keep testing because it takes a lot longer and it's more expensive than you think. That's one lesson I've learned with any venture actually,
yes.
because it's taken
So
longer and it's been more expensive.
that is totally true, and that's where I think most people are not able to get the game of marketing because they just keep on pondering to new agencies because the last one didn't deliver, but they do not understand what is the core problem. And in all their stories, it is the mistake of the agency, but never theirs.
Yep, yep, exactly.
Self-reflecting is important because even I realized this when I was over the last 3 months when I was working with these type of clients. So they were always blaming us, see, your campaigns are not working, your copies are not good. But when I was learning this method on how to solve a problem. So I noted each and everything down. So, and each of their queries that they mentioned to us, and then I write it on a piece of paper, your R, and then I made this. So that is where I was able to tell them, see, we need testimonials. We have been telling from day one. We need good creatives. Without that, stock images are not working. You need to get your pricing in place. Without these three things, either you place it as a luxury product, because if your product is for $50, then you have to keep it either less than your competitor. Why then I should be paying you $60 or $70? There is no sense.
Exactly. Yep,
Just because
exactly.
you are telling them that I am going to deliver 2 days faster than my competitor, nobody will bother you to pay $20 except who is something. if they are in urgent need of it. But the kind of product we were selling is not something like that. It is for a longer time. You buy it once, you keep it for 10 years. So I
Yep.
told them that this is how not work. So people need to understand that psychology, right?
Yep. Yep. And being a business owner, right? You need to be the expert. You know, we obviously know marketing, but you need to be the ones to know your business. I saw this very early on, but a lot of people have an idea and then they try to pass over to a marketing agency. And it's like, at the end of the day, you have to be the expert of your business and your
Yes,
industry
exactly.
and guide us. And obviously, we know, marketing trends, but implementing it to each niche is very different. And that's where it
And
needs to be your passion and your.
in terms of your branding as well, you need to be your brand ambassador. You need to tell the agency that what they need to be delivering, right?
Yep,
If like
exactly.
2025 is here, so many things are happening. The brands, the marketers who are watching, you need to tell your client that you are your brand. You need to tell me, you need to give me the instructions, what do you want exactly, so that
Yeah.
that collaborative approach can be taken. And with that, I had a question, like with uh, you know what advice or what steps or what strategy you would suggest to the entrepreneurs who are trying to scale their marketing efforts?
Yeah. So I think what's really important, I learned this hands on, is don't get so focused on revenue and sales. Make sure you're profitable, right? So, um, there's a company I was helping, and it happened with us in the beginning, but where we were actually getting more sales from organic traffic, that our paid marketing campaigns were almost hurting us as far as profitability. And so that's where we decided to pull back the paid campaigns, keep the organic sales flowing, and it allowed us to actually be more profitable month over month. So the total revenue number came down, but the profitability increased. And I think as a business owner, that's what's important, right? Is being profitable. And so I think it's important for people to not be so focused on the revenue and the sales numbers, but how's profitability going? And that also comes through systems and processes, right? So it's like, okay, this is our current revenue, but what can we do? Can we ship internationally? What's the international shipping cost? Can we install ShipStation, or can we get a better carrier for better shipping rates? And there's a way to improve profitability without changing anything in the business. You know?
Correct. And
Yeah.
like what is your take on, like in terms of how, is there a method or an approach that you take to think outside the box to resolve your problems, get to a conclusion, or like what do you suggest our entrepreneurs, who are trying to scale their businesses creatively, because creativity is at the core. You need to be creative to scale it.
Yeah, and so what you'll learn, right, is your business would be nothing without your customers, right? So really, your customers are your business. I think positioning it that way allows you to be more creative. People still, and I think actually it's happening more in this day to day with technology, but people miss that human touch. And so with customer service, instead of having automated email, if it seems to have a personal touch to it, people connect with brands like that a little bit better. I can just speak on my own experience with building this community base organically. I've seen that to be the biggest thing, and I would assume that it's also impactful across other businesses and industries. Once you build that community, you can have it, right? You can build upon it, and therefore it's never wasted effort. If that makes sense, people that try marketing here and marketing here and marketing here, it's wasted effort. It's really important to, like I said, if you're going to run ads and the campaign wasn't successful, make sure you got some email subscribes out of it, so you can you can have some traction and it's never a waste. You know,
Correct. That totally makes sense.
yeah.
So now I had another thing, like talking about the differences between what a startup company does and what a actually running business does. So let's talk a bit about that.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest difference is a system and a process. So I've seen that too between an entrepreneur and a business owner. It's systems and processes, right? Basically, at what step can you have the business running without you being there, right? If you have to be present every single day for your business, you're not quite a small business yet. You're still an entrepreneur working on it. But once you set up a system and process to where you can be absent and the business still flows, that to me is a pivotal point um, where truly you can start making money in your sleep, where you
Right.
trust, your new hires, making sure that the customers are being taken care of, making sure products are being shipped out, you know, deliverables being executed on time. I think that system and process is really important, and that comes into who you hire. I know you've done a good job at this too, Emil, is building a family, right? Building people you can trust that have the same vision. That's really important. I know a lot of e-com brand guys that kind of hire VAs and everything. And although the work is getting done, I think you're missing that passion and community. I personally think that's what separates good brands from great brands is that customer service. I'm sure you've experienced that as well, right? Is there companies that you maybe love their product, but you just don't feel good customer service. You don't feel like it's good
Right.
shipping or something like that. And those are ways to really compete with the market. And at least in with our competitors, they do have really good products. They're missing community, and that's a way to kind of it's also a way to learn while you're growing. If you can connect with the community, they'll give you direct feedback, what they like, what they don't like, pricing, product quality, and that allows you to kind of shape it as you go. You know.
Right. No, that is totally true. Community is the way to go, I think.
Yep.
Because
Definitely.
until and unless you don't have that cult following, you cannot grow. You won't have brand ambassadors, which are your customers, and they are your
Yes.
biggest people who can promote you well. So yeah,
Yes.
that is totally
Yeah, and I think thinking outside the box, right? I think collaborations and ambassadors have been for us monumental, and I think across other industries as well be very impactful because it's similar to UGC marketing, right? Where
yeah.
people are hearing about your company not directly from you, which is similar to referrals. Right? Referrals is one of the strongest forms of marketing. When you have someone else recommending your business, it's a lot stronger than the company recommending. And that's another thing too, is to really touch on the pain points of your customers, not necessarily what you're selling, but what are their needs, right? So for watch straps, for example, instead of me talking about how soft they are and how good they are, I talk about what are your needs, right? Do you hate sweating in a leather strap? Would you like a rubber one? Are you by the water and go swimming a lot, right? That's another use case for a rubber strap. Are you buying a watch to preserve its value, right? Making sure you're touching on the pain points of people, not so
Right.
much just the quality of your product, I think goes a long way.
Right. No,
Yeah.
that is totally true. So, Brandon, now we have talked a lot about marketing. What are the, as you have self-taught yourself a lot of things, you have been doing, I think you have been on this journey for 8+ years, if I'm not
Oh,
wrong.
it's like close to 12 now.
Okay, close to 12
Yeah.
years. Close
Yeah.
to 12 years, you have been an entrepreneur. So, what are your key messages that you want to give to the entrepreneurs who are watching, who are newbies or who have been trying to scale their business? So, I want you to give them some lessons, some advices based on your
Yeah.
experiences, because everyone has unique experiences. So let's talk
Yeah.
about it.
And so one that I feel like it's been more present for me lately as well, and I've been kind of shocked that people haven't talked enough about this, is the mental health of being an entrepreneur, to be honest with you. I think a lot of people, everyone's physically enabled to do the work, right? You can do the work, you can post every day, you can be, passionate. But making sure your mental state is very even keel is very important because as an entrepreneur, it switches all the time from hour to hour. You might have a good conversation with someone, then you go speak to, your employee and they're excited or they're upset, and then you could meet with an investor and they're upset or something like that. And you have to make sure that you have a smile on your face, you feel content without
Yeah.
these things getting to you because there's always going to be ups, there's always going to be downs. And it's really important not to ride those emotionally. I've just seen that it can be a very hard journey, a very lonely one as well. Not everyone understands what you're doing. You're going against the norm, for a long time too. Money's going to be tight. You're going to be trying to reinvest in the business, but you also got to feed yourself and take care of your family. It can be very stressful. And so a lot of the times, people that want to be entrepreneurs, sometimes they're better at work in a company. They are, with a little more structure, a little more, help around them. Because when you're an entrepreneur, you're kind of on your own and you got to figure it out. No one's coming to save you. I think that's what's very tough is the mental side of it. And people don't talk about it enough. I wasn't aware of it. I'm like, man, this is an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
You know? And then the more you scale, the more responsibilities you have, right? And then so in turn is the more stress. I just think it's really important to. That's why it's important to love what you do, because at the end of the day, it might just be you by yourself doing it for a long time.
Right.
As long as you have that vision and you keep continuously put in the effort, I believe the world will reward you. I'm a big believer in karma and what goes around comes around. If you're a good person, you're making business morally, you know, I think you can't lose. And then if you always look at it as well as like you're growing as a person. So maybe my business isn't growing, but maybe I'm growing as a person. Maybe I'm more disciplined. Maybe I'm smarter. And if you continue to learn and self-develop, you'll definitely be there. You'll definitely grow. You know,
Right.
in my opinion, I love that quote. The only person that fails is the person that quits. You know,
Right.
I think that's true. Yeah. There's another quote I love too, by Gladiator, but what we do in this life echoes in eternity. I think that's really important because it's true. It's not so much about the physical beings of this earth, right? But it's about who you become as a person. I think you carry that with you forever. So whatever you're working on, just stay on it. I know it's tough, but you'll get there.
But keep going.
Yeah,
No, I
exactly.
think that is totally true, and the advice is perfect. So, let's touch down on the last topic of this podcast, which is going to be talking about how you envision marketing in 2025. What is going to be happening in the next 4 quarters? So, as you have mentioned in the start of the podcast, that Q4 is the most important for e-commerce brand, and as you are also at that kind of brand, so why not let's touch base on the future of marketing and the journey.
Yeah, I think the future of marketing is very attention driven, right? So it kind of comes down to how can you capture the attention of your audience and making sure your competitors don't, right? Because at the end of the day, people are shopping, people are consuming, and who and what and who are they consuming from, right? And so that's where, as a digital marketing agency, people have options, and why would they choose you, right? And that's where it's good to be unique. It's also good to not be a chameleon and change around. It's important to know who your audience is, what your price point is, what you can deliver, um, and then kind of exceed expectations versus that people that they promise the moon, right, and they can't deliver anything. It's really important to start at those ground roots to really help and provide value, and it'll grow. I'm sure you've seen as soon as you help somebody, the referrals, they suggest you to other people, and it really does snowball. And it's important to really look at each customer with care versus just another customer for you. I've seen that with people's businesses where they hire marketing agencies, but the marketing agency doesn't understand that this is our baby. And so we're almost like entrusting you with our child, and it's important as a marketing agency to do it with care, right? Because if you do one good job, it will snowball. And I think the trends are going to be attention, and that's why I think the omni-channel marketing presence is really important. It's going to be capturing people's attention because with all these apps and social medias, they're on their phone. It's just what app are they opening, what product are they looking at, and if that can be you, you have a better chance of winning. You know.
Right. No.
On the flip side, what have you seen, or what do you think? What are your ideas for 2025?
So, for us as well, like as we were discussing before the podcast, so the industry is changing, the dynamics are changing, everything is changing every day. So, I've been envisioning this year that I will be like right now, I'm talking in the context of Crobstacle, how we are going to be marketing it. So, of course, what you mentioned, referrals is the most important thing. But one thing I embedded this year in our company that we have been doing with clients is that what related to what you have told, that it is our baby. So I have been telling to clients the right things, whether they like it or not. We have lost a business as well, but instead of just let it hang, we have been now focusing on to tell the clients the right thing. So one of the examples that I will give you right now is we have been working with a client on their branding. They are a very big brand. So since the start of the brand, they don't have a very clear vision. They know the name, but what they are going to be doing it. So we have been giving them inputs. A lot of things happened, but I think on 20th December, I sat with them. I had a call with whole of their team, and I told them, see, if you think we are just your marketing agency, then I will act as your hands. You have to give me the clear instructions, and we will just execute it, give you what you want. But if you want my expertise, which I've been doing it day in and day out for the last 8 years, then you have to listen to me first. You have to be a good listener. This is my baby as well. You have come to me to get this done. So it becomes my job to deliver you the right thing. Now,
Mhm.
if someone from the outside who does not know exactly what you are doing or what we have been doing, how come you, on based of that impartial information, you can take any decision? Because branding is something very important for big brands. So that when I had this conversation with them, so for an hour, like they were just sitting like what this guy is talking about. So I take out my questionnaire. I guided them through what things that they have to be doing. So at the end, everyone was thinking the same. It's just that he was saying A and he was saying A in italics. That was the thing. So that is one thing that I have implemented in Crobstacle since the start of 2025. I have told everyone in the team, if you think the client is wrong, tell them that you are wrong in a subtle way, in a very proper way, that they don't get hurted, because that also happens. We have seen that happening,
Hmm.
but guide them to the right direction. That is the first thing. Now, in terms of the marketing, second thing is that I am seeing is that even now clients are accepting AI driven content, AI driven tools to generate ideas. So earlier it was kind of a taboo in 2024 when I used to tell them. So clients used to specifically say, no, it shouldn't be AI generated. I have paid you, so you have to generate that idea. How does that make sense? You have paid me to
Yeah,
get the job done, no matter how I get it done. So now I have
exactly. Yeah,
seen, in 2025, clients are easily accepting the fact that AI is going to be here and we can use it for better ideas. So that is again there. Even I have seen some of the clients generating ideas and sharing with us. See, I generated this from AI. Do you think you can execute something like this? So that is something again we have been seeing.
yep,
In terms of the another marketing trend that I see is that this year, in terms of social media, LinkedIn is going very good. So I
yep,
am being very focused because LinkedIn brought up, I think in November, they brought up that reel format content. So I'm focusing on that. Instagram is going to be bringing that editing app. So I'm very excited for this because I mostly edit reels on Instagram, but it is, I will say, very shitty right now because most of the
yep.
time the app get closed or something like that happens. And in terms of the overall marketing, of course, the customer perspective is changing. But I think with the use of AI and the use of our experiences, we can still do it. And the principles, core marketing principles, stay in the same.
Yeah, yeah. And I think what's important is all these things are tools, right?
Yes,
And so the more tools you can use,
the
the
better you
better
are.
the chances. Exactly. And so that's where it's like, yeah, with AI, with all these apps, like just use the tools. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And stay consistent with it. The biggest thing is consistency. Most people don't have the money, the time, the passion to do things for a minimum of 2 years. But in my opinion, if you can do something for 2 years, you'll start to see success.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that is perfect. Anything else you want to add, Brandon, for our viewers who have watched the episode till here?
Just keep trucking, man. I do know how hard it is, and
It's
just
2025. Let's keep rocking.
just keep rocking. Just keep rocking. It's the beginning of the year, right? So whatever your goals are, we have a whole year to crush them. I think it's going to be a good year. It's going to be positive. And if you have any questions, reach out to myself or Emma. We're happy to help.
Yeah, that is perfect. And this year you are going to see Brandon. I hope we are going to see a lot more on this podcast, and hopefully we are going to see each other in person. I hope both of these things happen.
Yes, yeah. At the end of the year, we got to make it
Yes, let's meet.
happen.
Perfect.
Awesome.
On
Thank
that
you
note,
again.
first of all, thank you so much to our audience who have been very persistent in watching this episode. Do engage, do comment, because I see so many of you liking but not commenting. I want you to comment, share your thoughts. And then second thing is that Brandon, thank you so much for making time. You are right now outside somewhere in the middle of ocean and taking this
Yep.
episode. We really love
Yeah.
that. I really love that you to come here on this podcast. So
Of
thank
course.
you, and we'll be back with another episode.
Awesome. Yep. Any comments you guys leave, we can answer those questions. If there's anything we missed or you want us to elaborate on, just let us know.
Yeah, that is
But
perfect. All right,
awesome. Thank you,
audience, have
Enmo.
a great day.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.